Hi and welcome to Geekology. I'm David Spillier.
And I'm Sven Harvey.
Now you just saw two pieces of artwork to commemorate our love for Leonard Nimoy. The first one was Sven's.
Which I put together pretty much as I heard, and depicts Leonard in more than just being Spock in some of the other roles he did as well.
Yeah.
And of course there's the one little image with Jim Parsons on the set of Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, I love that one. It was just a really nice montage. The one I chose was just a wonderful depiction of how the actor and the man had influenced pop culture, and I thought it was particularly poignant and very clever. And yes, it was Big Bang Theory, and yes, Leonard. Yeah, I just thought it shows the impact that the man had had.
Absolutely.
So, you know, obviously, it's been a emotional little week with lots of different things.
Well, this is the thing, is we've lost two Star Trek producers, behind the scenes people.
Yeah, important ones as well.
Yeah, with Maurice Hurley, and then we lost just after Leonard died. I think it was the day after, Harve Bennett, who produced Star Trek 2, 3 and 4, I think it was, and 5, and because he had a little cameo in 5 as the Admiral who thought that Kirk was dressing a little too informally. So it's been, that's our 3 I think for the year. Thank you very much. We don't have anybody else going. I mean, we've had Terry Pratchett go this week as well.
Different geek
entirely, but it's still. Yeah.
Actually, you know, it struck me because I've got friends in both communities, and both communities were kind enough to phone me and go, "How do you feel?" And with Nimoy, my answer was, "It's a shame he was a good man." And they went, "Oh, well, you know, you mean Spock?" And I was like, "No, I mean the man." I was lucky that I'd met him a couple of times. I'd seen him a few times, but I'd actually got to meet him twice. And he was, very reserved, but very nice to his fans. He was a student his whole life, and he made a big thing about promoting education and promoting people's passions for anything they were into.
His photography.
His photography was phenomenal. It was great. But it's like people said, "Oh, well, you miss his singing." I was like, no, I'm not going to miss the singing. Yeah,
it's still funny though.
But
go by Baggins.
It's one of those things. He was. Yeah. There were many facets to the man.
Yeah.
So he was a very good writer. He was very, he was an interesting guy. And people were like, "Oh, okay, I thought you'd be upset about Spock," and it's like, well, it's a fictional character. He will live forever in the work that was done.
Yeah, exactly.
Where Terry dying, that did upset me because he created that. And weirdly enough, I've met Terry way more times than I've met any of the Star Trek people, because back before he was Sir Terry, he used to do a lot of things. He did book launches for all of his books. He went to a lot of his conventions. He used to do guest talks at the Birmingham Science Fiction Society. He'd done guest talks all over the place. He was very active as a writer and as an individual. And he was. Yeah, that was upsetting more. Yeah, so.
Fair enough. I mean, with Leonard, it's a bit of a strange one for me, because in my Facebook feed, especially, about half of my Facebook feed were mourning the loss of Spock, and half were mourning the loss of Galvatron.
Now, you know what? I've got to confess, I did actually go on a couple of the Transformer. Because you've tagged me into some Transformer groups. Yeah. Thanks for that. And I was stunned at some very negative comments from some people who I'm choosing to assume are not cool, hip and groovy people within the Transformer communities.
Yeah, there has been a couple of things which...
I didn't expect that. He was an actor, he did the voice. What's your beef? Seriously, he didn't write those. He didn't create them. What's the big deal?
Well, having said that, I was a little disappointed in some facets of the Star Trek community. He was saying he was a traitor.
He was a traitor for doing 2009.
I was like, what? No.
He was an actor.
makes you wonder.
Let's weigh this up. Actor, many.
But his legacy will go on, and this is the thing: is that as much as Gene Roddenberry originally created the Vulcanians, as they were originally.
Oh, Leonard flushed out.
If it wasn't for Leonard, Vulcans wouldn't be who they are. With the race.
No. I'm not saying the man didn't contribute. Yeah. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, up until the last piece he had done, everything was the last piece he had done. I mean, he did when I saw him in Germany a few years ago, somebody said, and this was obviously before the reboots and all the rest of it, and somebody said to him on the stage, isn't it sad that you'll never play Spock again? And he went, I'm playing Spock tonight. I'm going to be doing the audiobook of Spock versus Q, which was an audio... it was a book, but it was also an audiobook where he and... John Delancey were asking each other questions and bouncing off each other as their characters. And it's like that. But he said then, that will be my last performance as Spock. And then obviously other things came through, and then that was the... So essentially, the man has always been doing his last performance of Spock. It's just now we know there are going to be no more performances.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is a lot of people were doing pictures and mentioning the fact that they'd lost this cast member, that cast member, and the fact that the classic Trek photo with...
that really nice one where they greyed out the main cast. That was lovely.
And I was kind of disappointed there was no mention of Mark Leonard running around.
Sven. Hang on, give me a second. Okay, I know the name. Vulcan. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because of course he was Sarek in the original series.
Yes.
Sarek through the films, and in Next Gen.
Yeah.
And he also played the first Romulan commander we ever saw, and he played the first Klingon commander with ridges. So it was like, and he basically, between the, and here I am doing that when I'm doing
that. Don't do that.
When he and Leonard interacted, is how a lot of the Vulcan, sort of like the way the Vulcans were and how the Vulcan things developed was between those two and fleshed out. So the fact we're missing Leonard, missing Leonard and Mark now.
Yeah, but the thing is, for fans like the majority of fans don't know that stuff. They're not into it. They watch the episodes, they've seen the films, they love that. They never really delved any more into it because why would they? I mean, let's face it, if you hadn't have done conventions and if you didn't have such an interest in the mechanical process of how the stories are developed and how the makeup and the special effects, if you didn't actually physically have those interests, would you know who any of these people are? Really? It's like... name another TV show that you watch that isn't Superman or Marvel created. Just a TV show.
Doctor Who.
No, you're way too interested in that. Something you're not something you're not as interested in.
I don't do that.
There must be something. There's CSI. Everybody's seen CSI.
So CSI Los Angeles, for
instance.
NCIS Los Angeles.
There you go.
Yeah.
Can you name the cast?
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Linda Park, who
a
million years ago basically went and told Arnold Schwarzenegger off because she's like down here and he's up here, and it was hilarious, and that's Kindergarten God.
Alright, okay, fine. Let's go with Dead Like Me, because I made you watch Dead Like Me when it was out 12... Oh, actually, no, it's longer than 12 years ago. Okay, I made you watch the first season Ellen Mirth, correct. I made you watch the first Man Potemkin, Ellen Mirth, and do you know anything about that now? All these years gone?
Not a clue.
There you go.
Because I didn't watch it religiously.
You watched the whole first season. You just didn't care. Yeah, you didn't care.
This is the thing, is when I get into a show, I get into a show.
Yeah, but not everybody does that. People are getting way too used to downloading box sets. And having it all on demand, and people will power watch it, and for like a month they will really know every episode, and then gone.
Yeah, true. But I mean, as far as Leonard's concerned, it's basically he was the poster boy for Star Trek essentially for a very long time.
Yeah.
It's like if there was one person who was Star Trek.
Yeah. I wanted it to be Shatner, but it really wasn't.
It really wasn't.
No.
It wasn't. I mean, it's like saying Next Gen. Who was the poster boy for Next Gen? Data. No, it's Data.
I don't know. Jonathan did a lot of work. I mean, it's the same as LeVar Burton.
Mm.
You know, people go, oh, it's like, the man's a great director and he does wonderful audiobooks and he does a lot of charity work and he's a great guy and he's really fun to talk to and, you know, he likes fans. See, to tell you the truth, I like any of the actors who really like, and you know who the ones who actually enjoy the fans are. You know, they're the ones who aren't grinding their teeth after the 20th time have been asked what their favourite episode was or how they got onto the show. They're the ones who don't have the grind. You know, it's one of those things. But the weird thing is Leonard had a really sort of, I've covered that. Let's move to something I've not covered.
Mm.
You know, or you can find that here. Oh, it's well documented. It's right there. There you go. Go look for yourself, and then he'd move. He'd keep paces with things.
Yeah.
And you know, I always thought that was cool. But occasionally he would just re-answer a thing that he'd answered so many times over the years. And he must have been sick to death of it. But
yeah.
He never did that to the man.
So of course, we went through the whole period of I am not Spock.
Yeah, see, it's amazing how many people took that seriously.
Yeah, and then he did I am Spock.
Yeah.
The answer, and the true answer to that is that he embraced, in the end, he embraced the character, but
he didn't
imprinted everything else he did on people as well.
Yeah.
He never accepted the fact he was
only
just Spock.
Yeah.
There was a lot more than that to it, which perhaps some of the other actors didn't do so much.
Yeah, but again, they're all very different people. I mean, just look at how long it took George Takei to come out.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, talk about really hanging on there, you know. I love the fact that everybody knew. Like, he was one of the few people that came out and were like...
Well, yeah, clearly.
Who didn't know this?
Yeah. I must admit that was quite strange when he came out and everyone just went, oh yeah.
No, I like the Next Gen fans. The people who were pure Next Gen fans going, what? Like, we all knew. We knew. We've known for a long time.
That's quite scary. But yeah, I mean, sadly missed.
Oh yeah, it will be.
That's a whole sequence in the next Star Trek movie that won't be in it.
Yeah, but again, celebrate the man's work, not mourn the death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As long as there are Star Trek fans.
Star Trek 4.
Star Trek.
You can't.
Two.
Oh come on! There isn't more Spock. A more Spock piece of work. Oh, okay. Fair enough. We'll agree to disagree on that.
Well, yeah, but again, with you know, it's one of those things. But it has led me to wonder what's going on with Star Trek fans as a group of individuals, because I mean there was always a separation group between classic versus Next Gen, which then expanded into, you know, DS9 and Voyager, and no, it ended there. Nobody's a fan of Enterprise.
No, they are.
So yeah, no, I know, but the point is that there's always been that sort of, we all come under this sort of group title, but there've always been factions within the groups. There've always been people that, oh no, I only do this, and it's like, good for you. I'm glad you enjoy that. I'm going to run off and do this. Yeah, so.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the more personal things is my dad actually cosplayed Spock on more than one occasion, which is quite weird.
Yeah.
When you think about it, but
that pointy ears never suited me. I mean, the thing is with Leonard, the whole Spock character thing was really well loved. But he affected so many different fandoms in lots of different ways, and he'll always be remembered for his individual aspects rather than just his one main role. Because let's face it, he was in a lot of stuff. I mean, you know I'm a massive Twilight Zone fan. I also like The Outer Limits. I also like shed loads of other things that he did. And him
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah, and Transformers.
Yes, Galvatron.
Although, yeah, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, what was with that suit? Seriously. But it's one of those things, you know, it's one of those... He's an actor who was loved for the roles he portrayed. And, okay, yes. From your fandom base, yeah, some of the Transformer fans aren't particularly nice. On the other hand, some of the Star Trek fans haven't been particularly nice. No. The vast majority, well, they mourn the... I mean, for me, I mean, okay, me and you spoke about it really quickly, and you were like, you know, how do you feel? And I was like, I feel so sorry for his children. You know, my heart went out for his family, because horrible thing losing somebody. I mean, he's well loved, but the trouble is, every time for the next week, they look at TV. It's everywhere, and that's... I mean, on the other hand, there is. I'm hoping that they're also seeing the huge wave of love that people had for his work, which I think is a good thing. So. But that's who I felt sorry for. I felt sorry for the family. I felt sorry for the people who actually genuinely knew him as a man. That his friends who were his friends. That's who I felt sorry for.
I kind of felt sorry for Bill as well, because he couldn't get to the funeral because of him doing charity work, and he got a lot of stick for that. And I was just like, guys, he made a promise to do some charity work. You know, the last person on the planet who would have expected him to pull away from that would have been Leonard.
Well, you know, you can only ever guess what somebody would have thought, but again, with the, I'm sure that Shatner's doing his own thing. Yeah. I mean, this is it. I mean, people give Bill, Bill. I'm on a first name basis. No, people give Shatner a lot of crap because of his attitude towards things back in the 80s. Yeah, but he's a human being. We all grow. We all develop. His attitude towards his fans, his fandoms, his work has changed massively, and he and Leonard supposedly, and to the best of my knowledge, and certainly to the best of all those Blu-rays, they developed a real deep friendship towards the end of their careers as such. So sorry for him as well. Yeah. It's one of those things. Nobody's a winner in this. We're all just we're lucky that he did as much as he did. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And just I mean, this is the thing. I just hope that a lot of people have maybe visit some of the stuff he did that's other than Spock and Galvatron, because those are the two that seem to jump out at me from the days after people were talking about. But because of course, as you said, it was in the Outer Limits and Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Mission Impossible.
If we actually went through his IMDb list, this would be a really long video.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is we've seen most of it.
Yeah.
Because you go, oh, Leonard's in that one.
Yeah. Exactly. 3 Men and a Baby.
I don't know why people keep going, oh, did you know he directed that?
Of course we did.
It was the biggest grossing film of
that year. Yeah, so of course we did. We had, it's like, did you know he did Star Trek 4? Yes.
Yes, yeah. Funnily enough, I noticed that. Really big letters on the screen.
Yeah. Did you see the tweet that, I think it was a tweet that Jonathan Frakes put out?
If it was a tweet, I didn't see.
No, Jonathan Frakes put out a RIP Leonard, the best first officer has gone.
Oh.
Which was wow.
Okay. Oh, there's a man that forgot that the cage existed. No, yes, that was a very poor joke. But yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day, all the cast are getting on. I mean, at the end of the day, it's 50th anniversary. They're old. Funnily enough, the only way they're immortal is the fact that their work is going to live on for a very long time. How long, I don't actually know, because... Well, you see, the thing is, classic Trek aged really well for its time. But, I mean, okay, the digitally remastered with all the special effects and all this, it was really nice that they touched it up, but that wasn't what aged it. It didn't age badly because of the special effects. It's the storylines. Now, Next Gen is not going to age anywhere near as well as classic Trek did. Nothing to do with special effects, which, by the way, Blu-rays, amazing. Thank you for loaning me them. Amazing. But it's the style that it's shot in. It's the subject matters. It dates. TNG really dates. But Voyager really dates. DS9 really dates. And you know what? I'd say Enterprise really dates, but that would involve people watching it. So... Other than the fans who watch it, yeah, I know. Stop bashing the Enterprise fans. I want to bash the Enterprise fans. You know what? Instead of calling myself a classic fan, I would say, I'm a classic animation fan, because nobody could ever attack me for anything, because that would involve people watching all of it. And there are very few people that have actually watched it. Have you ever watched the whole of the animated series?
No, I'm trying to get hold of the box set, actually.
Oh, it's hard work. It really is. It was hard work. But it's one of those things, it's having the love for it. Next Gen fans will always be Next Gen fans, and they will try and get their kids to watch it. It's one of those things, things age differently and people embrace it differently. But Star Trek as a concept, it's going to last for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing, is that at the end of the day, if you approach anything new as a way for people to get into the old stuff, which is possibly the best way of looking at it, then
anything that gets people to revisit the stuff we love has got to be good. Yeah,
exactly. And that way, all of the cast members we've lost so far in the original series, and those we've lost afterwards.
Again, you see, again, with the people have said about, we have lost, we
can go back and visit them anytime.
The work is there.
Yeah.
If you love the character, he's right. There's a wonderful quote, and I really should Google this before I go on film saying it. But there's a wonderful quote. Somebody said to a very famous author, "What do you think of, how they've ruined your book and changed your characters for this film?" And he's gone, "My book is right there. The characters are right where I left them. That's it." The film was totally independent of the man's book. And I really wish I could remember who it was who said it, because it was a great quote, but the point was exactly the same. The work is still there. You can revisit it whenever you want to.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, me and you have more you on this particular. I mean, you've said to me before now, you've had a bad day, or something's been crap. I was like, "Is that Star Trek out here in the background?" Yeah. Because it cheers you up. Mm-hmm. Now, I'll admit, it doesn't quite have the same thing for me. It's pure entertainment for me. It's not something I watch to cheer myself up, but it's something I'll watch because, I haven't seen that episode in ages, or you know what, I really want to. But it's one of those things. It does go on. There is a reason I owned it on VHS and Betamax. There is a reason I owned it on DVD and Laserdisc. There's a reason that Blu-rays are sitting there. How long before we get the holographic stuff?
I don't know. The Next Gen cast are expecting in about 5 to 10 years to go back and do another reunion.
but there's a reason we've owned it on all the formats.
Yeah. Keep wearing things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I blew up my first PSP because I put Trek onto memory cards and I was watching them left, right and centre. The amount of those memory cards I went through on Trek. Good memory cards for the PSPs. Anyway, that's a format concept.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, everything they ever did
will always stay there.
Is there, so we can always dip back and celebrate what they did do and the impact they've had.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Leonard did have a massive impact, but everything he and DeForest and Major and
DeForest.
Yeah.
Now there was a guy,
Mm.
complete recluse, and yet he turned out such an amazing work.
Yeah. And Mark Leonard as well.
Yeah.
And James Doohan.
It's one of those things. When Doohan passed away, it was sad, and he was a good. But it wasn't. I didn't quite look at his body of work the same way that I'd looked at. I mean, DeForest's body of work. I love the westerns he did. He was an actor. I mean, a proper actor. You believed him in any of his roles. Shatner. I like Shatner. I am a Captain Kirk fan. I would argue about his acting skills. He's good at being Kirk. Shatner is fantastic at being Kirk.
T.J. Hooker.
Leonard could act.
Yeah.
He was a good actor. You believed him in the roles he was in. Although there was always that little voice in the back of your head going, Spock! Spock!
Even in the roles he did before he was Spock.
Funnily enough, yeah. Yeah, so it's one of those things where DeForest, I really regret that I never got to meet him. Yeah. I never got to see a guest talk. I never got to see anything he did. I've got videos, but I personally never sat in an audience for him. And I would have loved to have met the man. Yeah, because funnily enough, he was another one. He was a recluse and did not like his... He liked elements of his fame. He didn't like being mobbed, and he wasn't a big fan. You introduce him to like a couple of fans at a time. Fantastic. Put him in front of a room full of fans. He didn't enjoy his experience, but that's him as a man. He did not enjoy it, so he didn't do it. And I think it's a real shame, because he was his character was really loved, and you had to respect him as an individual. So same way you have to with Leonard, and I know people bash Shatner, and me, and I'm a fan, and I bash Shatner. I don't think it's going to be quite the same when he goes. I don't think people are going to respect his body of work the same way people respect Leonard's. Yeah, which is a shame, because Shatner's actually done some really good stuff, and and I don't just mean the singing, the acting, the writing, blah blah blah. It's he's done some really good humanitarian stuff, and and he does like his fans. It's just that unfortunately some of them are his fans. It's one of those things. Different actors get different fan types, and Shatners haven't always been cool, hip and groovy people, which is a shame, because it's a shame for anybody when they don't particularly get on with the people who like them.
In closing though, I mean, one thing that I think I'm quite grateful for is the fact that Leonard managed to get to his 50th anniversary with Star Trek, in a way, because December was the 50th anniversary of doing the Cage.
Isn't it really weird that... Yeah, because to me, that's the 50th, but no.
Well, this is the thing, is that the 50th is going to be celebrated on the 50th anniversary of the first episode being shown to the public, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whereas December, just gone, was the 50th anniversary of them starting to film The Cage, which for a long time wasn't even shown in the States.
No.
In its entirety, and it was only the parts that were used in the menagerie. And of course, when you bear that in mind, Leonard did more classic Trek than any of the other cast members did.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and just someone said the other day, it's like, what was the first line that Leonard said? And I was like, not sure what the first line he said was, but the first line he shouted was, "Check the circuit."
See. No, I know that's right, but in my head, I just remember, "The women!"
Yes. And him smiling as he touches the plant up. I'm like, okay.
A different thing. Yeah. I tell you what, though, I think it'd have made for a very different series having the female first officer.
Yeah.
I really think that would have made it a very different show.
I think Jean probably made the right choice in marrying the first officer.
Yeah.
And keeping Spock on the show, to be fair.
I don't think June would have enjoyed marrying the
Nimoy, no, I can't see that working quite as well. And yeah.
But there have been some beautiful tweets and some beautiful things said, and because obviously tweets, me, don't do it. But people have gone, oh, did you hear this? And did you hear that? And there have been some lovely things. So, yeah, embrace the good. I think everybody should embrace the good. Life is too short.
Yes. Yeah. But I can see a lot of people rewatching some classic Trek episodes and Star Trek 4 and...
What would be the classic Trek one that you'd rewatch in I Want to Remember in a fun way?
I don't know. I probably... The Menagerie is actually coming to my head, simply because it had the interesting bits of the cage in, and you've got Leonard trying to not give away things to a degree in it. Yeah, Mock Time.
Yes.
Because just that last scene, it's just when he's got that stupid grin on his face when he realises when Spock realises Jim's still alive. And Star Trek 4. So because of the amount of screen time. How he had all that screen time when he was directing, I have no idea.
Man balanced.
Yeah. I mean, the other things I always tend to watch together are Sarek and Unification.
Yeah, powerful episode.
Yeah.
It was Sarek was the name of the episode, but Sarek as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So those kind of go together. And there is part of me that wishes that they'd done something with Leonard based on Countdown with Patrick and... Yeah,
Countdown is one of those things that only a certain amount of fans know about, and it's a shame because it really does add a lot of depth to... Oh, you get a point. It really does add a lot of depth to the storyline.
And links
it really
things
does,
together.
It does a lot, so...
Yeah, it's kind of a shame we never saw that and turned into something a bit more live action, but the comics out there, the graphic novels out there.
Yeah,
see where they were
people
going
who want
with
to
it.
can...
Yeah. Absolutely. But I think that's a discussion for another time on how that would have smoothed things over.
God, the amount of discussions we need to have. So actually, you know what? Why don't we make the next video a discussion about Star Trek?
Yeah.
Be a nice idea. You know what? On that rather sad note, shall we leave it there?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for watching. Those were our vague ramblings about a man whose work we've both very much enjoyed, and if you've listened to us ranting about it, it's probably because you've enjoyed his work too. We will be at First Contact Day, so come share some stories. Tell us what it was that you loved about the man that was great, or what you hated. It's just as valid an opinion, and we're always happy to talk to anybody. We're happy to talk to anybody, really.
But if you do want to go to First Contact Day, do pop over to the website before the 1st of April, because that's when the closing date is for advance tickets. So don't miss the event.
And talking of things you shouldn't miss, subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on both Facebook and Twitter, and of course use the official Geekology website. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Bye.